Pasteiners, a place where pages, pistons, and passion collide.
My name is Stephen Pasteiner, and the name of the shop is Pasteiners. So the store is really the idea of my dad's. I think my dad is probably one of the ultimate car enthusiasts as far as collecting books and models and real cars. He always thought when you went to the bookstore there was not enough car books, and the same thing was when you went to the toy store there were not enough car models and magazines, and so he thought of putting everything into one location would be a dream of his. We've been here now since 1987, and my dad at that time was a designer for General Motors. He was assistant chief designer for Buick, and so he really has never worked per se in the store as a day-to-day. But it was always my brother and myself. And so for the first probably 10 years of the business, my brother and I worked together. In the meantime, my dad left General Motors and he started his own design and prototype business up in Rochester.
When someone like Jay Leno, collector, comedian, and true car guy, walks through these doors, it's not about celebrity, it's about connections. He wanted to experience firsthand the heart of this car community right here at Pasteiners.
So Jay came during Dream Cruise 2 years ago. So it was the 23 Dream Cruise. He had some business dealings with Chrysler. He was getting his first, the Hellcat, was it the 1370 Hellcat? And I had a friend who worked within some of the marketing with Chrysler, and the people within Jay's group knew about it. The store, the people at Chrysler didn't, so they were actually going to be driving by the store. And he says, if I can make it work, if we have time, can we see if Jay stops by? And so for Woodward Dream Cruise, we kept holding space. You can't park here, can't park here, can't park here. And I got a phone call saying, we're 10 minutes away, we're stopping. And that was just really cool. We didn't tell anybody that he was stopping. He is the nicest, most genuine, personable person. What you see on TV is what you get. The guy is just special. So it was very nice. He let the kids sit in his car. He took pictures with everybody, and he hung out probably about 45 minutes with us. He bought some stuff too, which was very nice. He said he could spend, he spend hours in here, and I told him, if you're ever in town, you call me and we'll make sure that happens. But very, very nice gentleman. It's just really a pleasure to have him here.
From concept sketches to delicate folds, Bob Lutz reminds us that true craftsmanship isn't just about horsepower. It's about heart, patience, and the joy of creating something lasting.
So Bob is a very good friend of my dad's, and Bob has developed this, I can't say it's a technique or skill, but he's first started with doing model airplanes to scale out of paper. And that evolved into doing model cars. And so he is built probably close to 36 scale model cars that if you did not tell somebody these were out of paper, you would walk by it and say, yeah, that's just another model sitting on the shelf. But it is absolutely incredible. The gentleman is 93 years old, is just, eyesight. I hope I'm half of his ability when I get to be that old. So, but just amazing. And it seems to be every month there's another new model that comes out, and with each one it gets a little more complicated, a little more detail, a little more craftsmanship, but it is just absolutely wonderful.
Every third Saturday in August is the Woodward Dream Cruise. A great day for car enthusiasts, not so much for business owners on Woodward.
But there are businesses who will close down and complain about it and say, hey, my customers can't get to me. And I says, there's 1.5 million new customers out there. I says, how can I sell them all $1? I'd be happy with, $1.5 million. So for us, it's how do you get exposure, and so we still do our car show, obviously, because there's so many spots that you can't be taken up. We use just the center portion. We grilled this year close to 1,000 hot dogs that we gave away to anybody walking by. 1,000 things of water, chips, just kind of as a thank you for, for being, part of our family. And so it's so special. We don't even cook. We have customers who argue who gets to cook this hour, who gets to pass this out, they help set up the tents, the canopies, tear it all down. It works out so smoothly now. It's an amazing day.
Every Saturday morning, engines fire up, coffee brews, and the parking lot transformed into a gathering of gearheads and dreamers. What started as a bookstore became a community, a home for model builders, car lovers, and anyone fueled by horsepower.
That came from, there was a gentleman, it was Mark Ulig and my brother, and that was probably almost close to 20 years ago, that they started to say, hey, on a Saturday morning, maybe we get together. And I think it started off with maybe a dozen cars showing up. And from there, it's just kind of slowly evolved. And last weekend, we had over 200 cars that showed up and filled through the neighborhood and the side streets and across Woodward Avenue. And so it's kind of gotten a little, can't say out of hand, but it's cool. It's very cool. And just the variety of things that show up, and there is always something new. And we had just a couple weeks ago, there was a gentleman and his wife, and they bought one of the new Elephant, Chargers that was the carbon fiber body. And they said, we were driving cross country and we heard about your Saturday morning. So they drove up from obviously Ohio or whatever to show up here at a Saturday morning and then continued on their way to California. So you're going, that's pretty cool that it's starting to, it's gotten recognition of, being kind of a national event, or people have heard about it. I guess they always say if you do something that you love to do, it's not work. It's a job because you still have to be here, but this is not work. And every day that the UPS truck shows up, or the FedEx truck, it's Christmas. You get to dig through the boxes and see the new things. It's just such a fun environment. The people that you get to meet, the friendships that you developed over the years, it's just, you couldn't ask for anything more.
Real faces, real story, real passion. It is a place where a model car can spark a memory, where a book can teach you something new, and where a Saturday morning can connect you to people who share the same love for speed, craft, and history. If you ever find yourself near Woodward Avenue, stop in, grab a coffee, walk the aisles, talk cars, and feel the heartbeat of a community that have been growing here for years. Whether you're a lifelong enthusiast or just curious, there's always a seat, a story, and a smile waiting for you at Pasteiner's.